It's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, and it reads, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Call Haloyim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad and all other nations appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth to you. I say Shalom. It's Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by a quick video. I was looking for a lesson, jumped on news break, and I think I did a lesson on it. But this is a pretty much a better, like, it should be a better, give you a better understanding because it's a video. You got the news anchors bringing out information. I think I just read like the title and maybe like a paragraph. But pretty much it's going into hard times. Because a lot of people, because we got the cruel Lord in office. The King of Babylon, DJ Trump. And he has the power to pretty much showing you how much power he really has, because he literally like doing stuff he's not even supposed to be able to do, and it makes you question. I said this years ago, like they wasn't going by the Constitution just based on the fact, your Constitution, you're supposed to have certain rights, speedy trial, yada, yada, yada. But pretty much because of COVID, a lot of things have changed. I think you had 90 days to have a trial tried and convicted and sentenced, but now they got longer than that. So everything is just, they just devil doing what he want. But it made me think of, in the last days, perilous times shall come. We're going to go in this word perilous, which is a Greek word.
Strong's G 5467. Chalipas. Chalipas.
It means the idea of reducing the strength, difficult, dangerous, or furious, fierce, perilous. Now, I'm going to get into vines, which it says hard to do or deal with, difficult, fierce, hard to bear, painful, grievous. So it's going to be grievous in the last days. And James, hard, rough, violent, to make or grow stronger. So pretty much because of this opposition, because the world is going to be harder, the true men of the Lord, the Lord's elect, are going to be made stronger through this adversity. You got to start really utilizing the blue letter. I don't think you got the Vines definition on the app. Somebody put me on to go ahead and bookmarking, the website, because the website, the blue letter website, better than the app. Although both go off, they both also pretty good, give you a better understanding of words. So I'm going to say fair use, fair use. I'm not profiting off of this. I'm just linking up what's being said with what's in the scriptures. Lord willingly, this is edifying.
Across the nation and here in Northeast Ohio in a show of support for U.S. postal workers. They're protesting against the possible privatization of the USPS. President Trump has...
Oh, that's what they doing. They privatizing everything, and that's why he's cutting everything. Pretty much, like with the Department of Education, I do know this, pretty much they're cutting, pretty much they're going to pretty much hand over the responsibility of certain things to the state. So now you're about to have to deal with private lenders and whatnot if you want to go to college. And I noticed that, like, in our city, Cleveland, pretty much if you a resident of this county that I stay in, pretty much, like, if your child does good in school, they'll pay for them to go to school. And that wasn't like that before. I know it definitely wasn't like that when I was going to school. So what do they know that we don't?
Long criticized the Postal Service, saying it loses too much money. Last month, he floated the idea of restructuring it, possibly moving it under the Commerce Department. What are we going to do? U.S. postal workers delivering a strong message. They're saying no to the possibility of privatizing the USPS, a move that supporters believe could put jobs in jeopardy.
It definitely will, because yeah. See, I didn't even know that this was the nature of the video. Like, I do know that they talking about in April laying off like 10,000 people. So I thought that was going into the same thing. But if they privatize it, of course they're going to lay off and get rid of all these different people. Yeah. And I will say this: I do know, at least for the district I'm in, my postal service suck. You know what I mean? Like, I live in a 2-story, so pretty much they always mixing up our mail. You know, I have told them to hold my mail, couldn't get my mail. You know, so it's like brothers have been in the spirit. You know, that's the balance though of staying focused and, you know what I mean, and being meek, and, you know what I mean. I gotta get in that spirit. Can't always be doom and gloom, you know what I'm talking about. But
because you know what? If they want to take that away from us, you know what I say? Oh, hell no!
Protesters in Cleveland joined communities across the country today in solidarity with mail carriers.
The American people depend on us to deliver their mail and their packages 6 days a week.
And they have no plans to back down.
We're standing our ground, telling them that we're not going to stop, we're not going to give up.
And in Akron, another strong wave of support.
When you talk about the midterms coming up, there's so many things that we can do to try to put an end to this. Privatizing and helping his millionaire buddies make more money is not the answer.
And that's funny because, again, like I say, I didn't even know, like, this is multiple cities in Ohio. On top of the fact, you know, Edom is calling out Esau Edom. You know, their own tongues is falling upon themselves. You got Edomites calling out Edomites because everybody see what DJ Trump is doing, you know. And that's why, you know, everybody pretty much is talks about how the beast is going to hate the whore.
It is not.
Some of the neighbors they serve also standing by them.
The postal carriers are not just people that deliver your mail. They are the eyes and ears of our community, and they're valued.
Man, that's a whole video right there. What the fuck? Let me do this real quick. Bear with me. Okay, so I thought of a couple scriptures while that was going on. It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, starting at verse 1. Because at the end of the day, these different protests is going to pretty much lead up to uprisings. This is 2nd Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity or the unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And that goes to 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Verse 6. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Jump into verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's going into the race wars and the race riots. You know, you're going to have nation against nation, you know. But you also going to have certain Edomites. You're going to have Edomites because pretty much Donald Trump is pretty much separating who is for Babylon the Great, his administration. You know, he's looking for loyalists. And he's pretty much, that's how you know that they're about to bring in this system, that you're going to have to be pretty much down with the image of Babylon the Great in order to receive any aid. And it's not even being subtly done. You know, they're doing it right in your fucking face. They're cutting all these different programs aid at a time when people need it the most. And then I've been blessed to be able to be, you know, people have took me out and did little things, and I'm watching people spend money. I know somebody that works in like the food industry, not a little McDonald's type of thing, but a restaurant where, you know what I mean, a restaurant. And it was like pretty much it's been busy lately. So that's how you know people got their money. But then from what I'm hearing, the IRS been fucking with a lot of people too, which make a lot of sense because I remember doing videos about how they hired all them different tax collectors. So it's more IRS agents than you think. And that's probably why so many people getting audited and scrutinized. And, you know, I know a dude pretty much filed his taxes and he just found out they kept his taxes. You know, he talking about because of the IRS code, because you got to have that special pen. I ain't got no special pen. What the fuck you talking about? You don't even have to sign up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you talking about? I think it's voluntary. So all these different things is going to make people lose it. And what Gerald Sonente always say, when people got nothing to lose, they lose it. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. This guy, DJ Trump, has roused up the spirits of these Edomites. You know what I mean? You got 2/3 Jake even going to be roused up with him on some stupid shit. But you got Jake being roused up, all based on what took place in, I think it was in Ohio, when that you had the KKK march on that bridge in Ohio. You know, I know a few brothers did videos on it. You know, they looking like the new not fucking around crew or coalition or whatever. You know, wearing the mask and whatnot. You know, Jake being roused up, and you know, Jake, the Lord gonna put the spirit on Jake to actually take some of these Edomites out. But at the end of the day, you know, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the pulling down the strife. So like it, but mighty through the pulling down the strongholds. Our biggest strength is the scriptures, because that's what's doing the biggest damage to Babylon the Great. I mean, if you got the spiritual eyes to see it. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 19. And ultimately, the way that these jobs is going, you pretty much ain't gonna be no work. You know what I mean? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1, and it reads, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua rideth upon a swift cloud. So this is a future prophecy. And the cloud is a chariot, and shall come into Egypt, which is modern day Egypt, Babylon the Great, aka America, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. That's that Revelation chapter 1, talking about all eyes shall see the Lord returning in the clouds, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. So the modern day Egyptian is these Edomites. So you're gonna have, again, Egyptians or Edomites that's for the government, for Trump. You're gonna have Edomites that's against him, and they're gonna clash. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, which, you know, is the same thing, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. This place is going to be completely engulfed in chaos. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. They're going to call on their you know, they're going to use their soothsayers and their warlocks and witches and warlocks and wizards, and it's going to come to no avail. Verse 4, and the Egyptians, like the prophets of Baal, you know, and the Egyptians will I give over to the hand of and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the Lord of hosts. And we believe that fierce king is DJ Trump. Look at what is all he's done in the short amount of time that he's been in office. He hasn't made America great again. He's showing you that this bitch is over with. He's shutting down the shop. What the fuck you talking about? And then people do not realize it, you know, because they up under the enchantment. You know, MAGA, Make America Great, is just an acronym. But when you go into, you know, I believe it's like the highest degree in witchcraft, you know, the MAGA. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14. The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Verse 15, the point, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Verse 16, and in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is surely shaking this bitch up. I mean, I'm talking about, you had firestorms on one side of the country, snow on the other, or ice on the other, you know what I mean? Like, got these people completely confounded. Verse 17, and the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. And that was going into pretty much what I was saying about, yeah, you're going to have some jakes that's gonna rise up and fuck some of these Edomites up, but ultimately, it's gonna be, because they were given the power of the sword. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts, which he hath determined against it. I was looking for the word determined. That's another one. I gotta make sure to write that down. So, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, because it pretty much tells you, what I mean? Yeah, that's how it's going to be in the last days. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse, starting at 4, and it says, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Skipping to verse 21. For then shall be verse 21, for then shall be great tribulation, because things are going to get so bad, and that's where you're going to get Jacob's trouble. But Jacob's trouble, because, pretty much all, America's a big ass melting pot, and eventually everybody, because these people are not truly together, and you're going to see that in that day. But Jacob's trouble is going to turn into Esau's trouble, the heathen's trouble, everybody's trouble. And that's why it's best, if you got the ability to leave Babylon the Great, if you the heathen nations, you should leave. If you a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, you're not going to be able to. For then shall be great tribulation, such as, unless it's the will of the Lord, and it be a situation like with DJ Trump with these deportations. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Verse 22, and except those days shall be shortened, no flesh be saved. Unless those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So we truly are at the end. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to Call Loyim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachah HaKodash. All honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity. Till next time, Lord willingly, Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah, and Wath Lava Boy.